Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Panhard EBR 105. It's the tier 10 wheelie. It's an abomination and should not be in the game. But, well, we have to put up with it in this replay because Jonas is playing it. I'm not going to read the rest of his names. It's XD00009, I think, of the PDR clan. Well, he's on the south spawn of Halluf, and let's see how he gets on. Oh, this happens to be the fastest vehicle in the game. You notice I didn't say tank, because it's not a tank. It is basically a reconnaissance vehicle, and really should not be in the game because this vehicle never existed. Yep, it's basically an upgraded version of the EBR90, and that did exist, and the French did buy them and put them into mass production, but the EBR 105? Nope, never existed. They did consider putting a 105mm gun in a different turret into a vehicle that was actually an EBR 90, but this one never got produced. Oh, you can see that Jones has got off to a start by spotting a few enemy tanks, and he's trying to take pot shots. The standard reload on this vehicle is 12 seconds, and he's got his first hit on the Carnarvon, or Centurion rather. But he's managed to get it down to 11.46 seconds. When I say it's the fastest vehicle in the game, originally it was supposed to go 105 kilometers an hour, but that was in the super test, and eventually Wargaming decided no, that was just far too fast, and they cut its speed down to 91 kilometers an hour in sprint, and well, as you can see on the page, it can go 70 kilometers an hour in standard mode, in cruise mode. Now, it's the same 105mm gun that you actually find on the Ravioli, the Reveille, and also the AMX-13 105 and the Batchat 25 tons. So it's a very powerful gun. But sadly, in this context, it's too powerful. And I'm afraid it is ruining the game. Unfortunately, Wargaming just doesn't seem to realise. Oh, he locked on, but he just couldn't get the gun to bear on the target. Now the enemy EBR is coming down to do a bit of revenge of his own. Okay, slowed it now, gets one in, but he did take one in return. Now you see he's firing standard APCR. In actual fact, the EBRs didn't fire that. They didn't actually have any EBR at all. The only rounds that the EBR actually carried were heat rounds, which was the standard ammo. Oh, almost flipped that one. Got his shot in though, took some damage from an HE round. The other rounds were HE and armor piercing, pin stabilized, discarding Sabo. So basically this thing fired very fast flying darts at the enemy, because that's what Sabo rounds are. They're basically just darts that are moving incredibly quickly. He takes out the enemy EBR, almost tries to ram the Progetto, which is not a good move because this vehicle doesn't do well in ramming. In fact, distinctly unwell. He took one 105mm from that Progetto 65, trying to get that shot. Yes, he gets it this time. 428. Now, some people find this way too fast. You can see that the way that Jonas crashed into the wall there, even Jonas finds it too fast, and other EBR drivers do the same. He's basically relying on the fact that this vehicle is virtually impregnable. Look at that, it's just bouncing down the cliff. Basically, what I think Wargaming tried to do when they introduced the wheeled vehicles was bring out a vehicle that was capable of getting to Arty and killing it so that Arty would be removed from the game. But what they actually made was an indestructible go-kart. And I do remember there was a game that was devised recently where you actually make go-karts in the game and then fight them out against other people firing their go-karts, and depending on the build of the vehicle as to how good you are. I think it was Strikeout or something like that. It was a game that was advertised heavily on YouTube for a while. Oh, he's not taking the shot on the Jaeger yet. He's going for the rear, and he spotted a better target, but unfortunately he fluffed his shot, but he was spotted, so he has to pull back. That would have been nice if he got the Heshbon, but he's done a quick circuit and come back, and oh, he exposed himself. No, he didn't hit him again. The gun handling has a little to be desired, but I mean, some people do complain that this thing does seem to have far more accuracy than it should have, and even if you do hit an EBR, basically the shells will just literally bounce off, simply because the wheels are made of stellanium. They are impervious to any shell, and well, all an EBR does is run around the battlefield at high speed. It doesn't really matter if you flip an EBR, because it flips itself back again. And that's very unfair to any tank driver who has played the game and ended up on their back, upside down or whatever. I just saw a Tog the other day manage to flip himself over completely. But if you try to flip an EBR, it's very difficult to get stranded on your back. They've got an almost self-righting mechanism. Yep, that's a hit. Now, I didn't mention the shells. They're 390 alpha, penetrating 190mm with the APCR, and that goes up to 240 with the heat rounds. And he does have HE as well, and he's using the HE to good effect, because he'll get 500 alpha if you penetrate. And of course, he can penetrate this Hesh bomb. Nice, and he got a high roll there for 581, but he was spotted. They know he's here. They know he's here, but they just don't know which side he's going to appear from. Now, really, I think they are going to ruin the game eventually. The Heshbon tried to get a shot back, but couldn't. You see, even the most OP tank in the game has problems against these go-karts. And in reality, this would never happen. A reconnaissance vehicle, if it found enemy tanks, would just immediately retire before they got wiped out. They would never try to take on a heavy tank, a main battle tank, because if they did, they'd come off the worse. So it's a completely erroneous thing, because after all, if these tanks were so good, if these wheeled vehicles were so good, every nation would have them, and every nation would equip these instead of anything else. So they just wouldn't bother with main battle tanks, they just have loads of go-karts. And you see, one of the things people have said is that they should have a time penalty or a penalty if they do get hit. And of course they should also suffer the consequences of going into terrain where the ground is boggy or uneven. They should effectively get their wheels stuck in the mud. And if they do, they slow down dramatically. I mean, when I say dramatically, they should... And look at that, he almost flipped it. All he got was a wonky wheel. Yeah, they should slow down so much that it's just dead easy for anyone to put them out of the game. So certain areas of the map should actually be almost like forbidden to them. And if they do trespass into those areas, they're going to come a cropper. Well, with the scores even, we've got E100 the other side of the battlefield. He fires an APCR into the rear of that E100, goes straight through his armour. He's going to get another one if he's... oh no, the E100's coming down this way. Now this could be interesting because he'll run rings around an E100. There he is. And he's got the side of the guy. Ah, no, he's turning his turret towards us. He's always got to worry about the Jaegeru, who's also behind him at the moment. He's trying to set up a nice little ambush. No, angle was wrong. It was obviously going to be thicker armour if the turret was angled. You need to get it flat on, if you can. If I remember correctly, it's something like 12 centimetres armour. Okay, he's going in close for the kill now, and yeah, no problem with that. Straight through his rear, and he's got his 4th kill. Oh, somebody's firing at him. And I think it was the T110E3 from the other side of the battlefield, because I'm pretty sure the Jaegeru's up here somewhere. He's just trying to scout him at the moment. And he's gone back to sprint mode. I think when Wargaming brought out the EBR75 FL, they were actually trying to test the water to see how people would react to having go-karts in the game. And the thing is that Victor said that he wouldn't put wheeled vehicles in the game, so it's a bit of a shame when he actually broke that rule, or broke that promise, and actually did include these. I've heard now that they are going to be bringing out a new branch of wheeled vehicles for one of the other tech trees. Some say it's the Russian, others say it's going to be the American. Could even be the Soviets. They all have wheeled vehicles, but even the Germans have wheeled vehicles actually. A lot of the Sonderkraft Fahrzeuge, I think it was their, you know, the SD KFZs, and they were very successful, but they never engaged tanks if they could help it. Even the Americans, they even with the Greyhound that had the big success at trying to remember the name of the place where it actually happened, but always found the enemy Arty as well. And he's got the rear of the Jaeger and puts a round in. Just the fact that he can do that to one of the most OP tank destroyers in the game. He's just playing with him. And puts another one in, but this time round he doesn't get the pen. Just so long as he stays away from the pointy end, he's okay. And his tank drivers are really basically having a very easy time of it, you might say, because they're not having to do much whilst he's actually harassing the enemy. Of course, our enemy, our Arty, now knows where the enemy Arty is, the GW, and he's quickly getting out of there before he gets counter-batteried. And yet again, he's gone back up to the heights so he can shoot from a distance, hopefully to see if he can find... Yes, he's found the enemy Arty again, and this time round, well, he gets a definite hit there, but it's not a kill shot. He's using the heat rounds because he's run out of APCI. He should be using the HE rounds because he'd kill it with one shot, but instead he's using heat, which is expensive, and he's got another kill. That's 5 now. And the E3 is now getting hit by our Arty. Our Arty's a bat chat. And there's the Jaeger again, trying to go for the hatches on the top of the vehicle because he really can't penetrate the frontal armor on this thing. The only place really he's guaranteed to get a shot into the Jaeger is if he hits it in the rear. But the problem with getting that shot into the rear is if he doesn't put it in the right place, it won't go through. There are some hatches on the back of a Jaeger which are fairly easy to pen. So far his battle's been rather good. He's actually forced both of the remaining enemy tanks to be holed up near their cap area. And the Jaeger is found again. That's the 2-minute alarm. Oh, now he's almost getting fired from 2 this time. He needs to be careful because there's the T110E3. And they're doing this to protect each other. Oh, he's going to put one through the side while he's waiting. Yep. Didn't get it pen. And it looks like the E3 is now taking fire from... Yeah, he's taking fire from the Arty again. He's pointing this way. No, he's waiting for him to poke out. And he's fired, so he's blown his wad. And no, didn't get that one either. So he can go back to going fast again because that guy's got a very long reload. Gonna have another go. No, didn't get it through. And the E3 and the Jaeger are now joining each other for mutual security. Nobody can get to the cap unless they deal with them first. And he's pointing this way. And we're now in the last minute of the game. So he really needs his teammates to get involved in this now. Oh, he dodged the shell from the Jaeger. It just shows how OP this thing is. And which one does he go for? Oh, he fluffed it. Okay, these guys are now basically one-shots. There goes the E3. He's now sitting behind the Jaeger, going for the weak spot, which is the doors. He puts one through the side instead. He's blowing his last rounds, which are HE. The next one should do the job. So aim it well. Don't go for the... Oh, he's trying to track him. He's tracking him. I wonder if he's trying to blow his ammunition so he's down to 1 round and then kill the guy with his last round of ammunition. Watch out the clock. And he gets the kill at the last second. There's only 7 seconds left. 6, 5, 4. And there you go. It's going to clock. Countdown. Oh, yes! Right to 0 on victory. Now, I may sound enthusiastic and pleased that he's won, but that's only for Jonas, not for the vehicle he's in. I hate these things, really with a passion. I wish Wargaming would have removed them from the game as quickly as possible, because otherwise they're going to ruin the game. They're going to turn it into a go-kart, and you might as well paint Mario pictures on the front of them and let them run around the battlefield almost like a circuit, because it's basically a clown car game. Anyway, that's enough of my rant for the moment. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And here's the end of battle results, and it was an ace tank of a Jonas XD 0009 of the PDR clan in the Panhard EBR 105, an abomination. Yep, he managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, he managed to get 8, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, and here comes the other medals. He got a patrol duty for being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks whilst they were damaged, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. He got that 6th kill right at the end when he killed the Jaegeru. And oh, that must have been quite embarrassing for the Jaegeru, because he's such a powerful vehicle, but to be reduced to basically a waste of scrap metal by a clown car, yeah. And he says, crazy carry, EBR 105 in the Wadi. Yes, it was a crazy carry indeed, but I think it's crazy that these things are in the game at all. Let's have a look at team score. Well, did get the highest damage, 5,990 hit points of damage. The next high scorer was the Object 260 on the enemy team, 5,271, followed by their FV4005 Stage 2 with 4,692 hit points. So when he wasn't actually getting holed by Jonas, he was actually doing some good. When it came to kills, again it's Jonas with 6 kills. 4 kills went to the FV4005 and 3 kills to the Object 260. And when it came to base XP, he's got it again. So he's got the top in all 3 columns, 1,544. He's the only one over 1,000. The next highest scorer being the STB1 with 885, followed by the Batchat 155.58 on his team with 862, because he was lobbing shells in based on Jonas's sightings. 34 shots fired, 28 direct hits, 17 penetrations, 2 splash. Damage of 5,990 hit points, of which 1,265 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see the majority of his damage was done at close range whilst he was running rings around the enemy. He did receive 3 hits, 1 penetration and 2 hits by way of splash damage. Yeah, so he did get shot once. I can't remember which one it was that he hit him, but oh, it was the Centurion, I think, wasn't it? Right at the start of the game, he did get hit. Yeah, 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 3,836 hit points of spotting assist in that game. That's a huge amount. On a premium count, he earned 60,410 credits, got 30,000 for personal missions payout, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables. And yes, he did have a lot of premium ammo in this game, even blowing premium ammo to kill the Arty, which was a bit of a waste really, because 1 HE round would have been enough. 35,825 credits profit, 1,544 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 4,632 from personal missions payout, and took away 9,264 experience points altogether. I did say a long while back that I would no longer do any replays on these go-karts because I thought they shouldn't be in the game, and it was a big mistake to have them in the game at all. I really do not understand why Victor allowed it, because really they have made the game worse, not just for the Arty players, but for tank drivers too. A lot of tank drivers hate these vehicles. They really do, with a passion. And they feel that effectively they just make even the most OP tank, even your Object 279E is literally torn to shreds by one of these. So it really is a complete anomaly to have things like this, which aren't tanks. They're not tanks, they're reconnaissance vehicles. For all that, you might as well have M8 Greyhounds, you know, the American wheeled reconnaissance vehicle, running around the battlefield, blowing up Tiger 1s, as they're supposed to have done. No, they didn't actually. I think that was a mistaken after-action report where somebody in a M8 Greyhound actually took out a Panzer Mark IV with Schutzen on the side, which made it look like a Tiger 1, but it wasn't, no. Anyway, enough of my rant there. I think the thing is that we will continue to do these replays for the members, but obviously we will rant about them in the game. We will say we hate them with a passion. We don't believe they should be around. So if you really do want your replay, and if it's good enough, we will do it, but we will rant about it as much as we like, because we hate these things. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. Say anything you want about these vehicles in the comments, because really, honestly, they are terrible. But thanks to Jonas for sending in the replay anyway.